Hi students, we are discussing about the air pollution and control. Today our lecture number is 12 and which is module 2. Yes, so this is the subject name, that is environmental science. The subject code is MC301 or 401. The contact hour is 24. These are the some of the course objectives that we have. That is you can able to understand the natural environment and its relationship with the human activities. Okay, you can apply the fundamental knowledge of science and engineering to assess the environmental and health risks. You can understand the environmental laws and regulations to develop the guidelines and the procedures for health and safety issues, and also you can solve some of the scientific problems which is related to the air pollution, which is related to the water pollution, the noise and the land pollution. So these are the some of the course objective that we have. Next, that is a course outcome. So here these are the some of the course outcome for our course. After completion of this course, you can understand the natural environment and its relationship with the human activities. You can apply the fundamental knowledge of science and engineering to assess the environmental risk and also the as well as the health risk. You can develop the guidelines and procedures for the health and safety issues, which is obeying the environmental laws and regulation, and also you can acquire some of the skills for the scientific problem solving related to the air pollution, related to the water pollution, related to the noise. Okay, so these are the some of the course outcome that we have for this course. Now this is the lecture plan for the air pollution. Okay, now these are the some of the objective of today's class. So today we will discuss about we are discussing actually the controlling of the air pollution. We can use some of the equipment to reduce the air pollution. Okay, so out of the so many equipments, we have discussed the three equipments actually in our previous class, and today we will discuss about the baghouse filter, the scrubber and the catalytic converter. So all for all this equipment we can see what is the working principle of this instruments, how they are working, how they can refine the air, and what are the special features of the special characteristics of the equipment, what are the size, what should be the size for the baghouse filter the equipment, what will be the size that will be removed by the scrubber. So all these things we will discuss. Okay, so this is the today's objective. Now this is the recapitulation. Just at a glance, I am again repeating. We have discussed in our previous class, that is the gravitational settling chamber. We have also discussed the cyclone separator and the electrostatic precipitator. Electrostatic precipitator is very important. Okay, because through this electrostatic precipitator we can remove the particles which is having the size 0.1 micrometer to 1 micrometer. Very small particles we can remove by this electrostatic precipitator. So these are the some of the objectives of the control equipment. Okay, so we have to we have to preserve our air, we have to reduce the air pollution, we have to minimize economic losses, we have to increase the product quality. So these are the some of the objectives of the control equipment. Now what are the types of control equipment? How many types of control equipment that we have? That is the fabric filter or baghouse filter. Today we will discuss the scrubber. Today we will discuss the cyclone separator already we have discussed, and electrostatic precipitator, and also catalytic converter, and the gravitational settling chamber. So these are the some of the control equipment that we can use to refine the air, to reduce the air pollution. Okay, so this is a gravitational settling chamber. Actually what will happen, this is a large chamber. What will happen, while the gas is passing through this, as this is a large chamber, the the velocity of the gas molecules will decrease, and thus all the dust particles, the large particles, will be settled down. This is the dust hoppers. Okay, and after all, from the outlet, whatever gases we are getting, that is to some extent freed from the large particles. Okay, generally greater than the particles which is having the greater than 50 micrometer size. So for this case we can use the gravitational settling chamber. These are the advantages and disadvantages of gravitational settling chamber. That is it is a low, it is very low initially cost we have, easy to design, low pressure drop, low maintenance cost, and also continuous disposal of the solid particles. And the disadvantages are only the large particles can be removed, the less collection efficiency. These are the some of the disadvantages. Okay, and this is the some of the field where we can apply the gravitational settling chamber, and that is the widely used for the removal of large solid particles from the draft furnace, the kilns. Sometimes many industry like food industry, metallurgical industry, there we are using this gravitational settling chamber. Yes, so this is the cyclone separator. Cyclone separator, generally what will happen, the from this inlet, the dirty gas, the gas which will be refined, that is enter into the body, into the chamber, and after entering the chamber it will move like the cyclone separator, cyclone movement. If we have the cyclone movement, and by the centrifugal force, the large particles, the heavy particles will be precipitated here. And after all, whatever from the outlet, whatever gases we are getting, that is to some extent free from the large particles. Okay, so it can remove the 10 to 50 micrometer particle size, and used mostly in the industry. Yeah, so these are the some of the advantages and disadvantages. Also again we have, this is low initially cost, less floor area, simple construction and maintenance. We have can handle large volume of gas at high temperature. Okay, and the disadvantage is small particles less than 10 micrometer cannot be removed by this, and require large headroom, and also very sensitive towards the dust load and flow rate. Okay, so these are the some of the disadvantages of the cyclone separator. Next, the application, some of the cement, feed, grain processing, food processing, the textile industries, paper industries, we have used this cyclone separator. Okay, now electrostatic precipitator, as I told you, this is very important, because this can remove, the efficiency is 99%, and this can remove the 0.1 micrometer to 1 micrometer the particle size. Okay. Yeah, there are six, these are the some of the six major components that we require. Actually what will happen, this in between these two electrodes, the high electrical electric field is applied, and whatever particulate matter we have, all that particulate matter are negatively charged, and which will absorb in the positive surface, and after all, from the outlet, whatever gases we are getting, that is free from the dust particles, free from the dust particles. Okay, particulate matters. So this is the working principle of the electrostatic precipitator. Okay, so these are the some of the advantages and disadvantages we have. High collection efficiency, smaller particles we can remove. Also it can operate at the high temperature. The maintenance is normal. Few moving parts also we have, but the disadvantages is the cost is this is very expensive. Okay, the cost is the high initial cost we have for this. It require high voltage. Also collection efficiency reduced with time. Space requirement is more. Possibly if we combustible gas, if we use the combustible gases or particulates, so the explosion may happen. So these are the some of the disadvantages we have. Next we will discuss about the bag house filter. Okay, bag house filter, generally what will happen in this chamber, some of the fabric bags or cotton bags are there. Okay, some of the chambers are there. So through this, while the air will pass, and it will have the large particles, some of the pollutants. So all these pollutants will absorb, will stuck in this chamber, bag filters. Okay, and after all, from the outlet we will get the clean water, clean air. Flue gas is allowed to pass through a oven fabric which filter out the particulate matter. Small particles are retained on the fabric. It consists of numerous vertical bags, 120 to 400 millimeter dia and 2 to 10 meter long. Okay, remove particles up to 1 micrometer. Okay, so if the particles, it can remove the particles which will have the size that is 1 micrometer, and its efficiency again up to 99%. Okay, so this is the working principle of the bag house filter. Now this is again the bag house filter. Here, from here, this is the inlet. From here the gas is passing. These are the some of the bags we have where the air is passing, whatever the polluted air is passing, and all the in all the bags, the particles, large particles will stuck here and clean. After all, from the outlet we will get the clean air. Okay, so this is the working principle. Next, what are the factors affecting efficiency? The efficiency decreases due to the excessive filter ratio of carrier gas versus the gross filter area. Okay, and improper selection of filter media, temperature, resistance to chemical attack, and abrasion resistance taken into the consideration. Okay, so these are the some of the factors that is affecting the efficiency of the bag house filter. Yeah, so these are the some of the advantages and disadvantages of the bag house filter. So from this portion, again I am telling you, from this portion generally these type of questions you are asked, like what are the advantages and disadvantages of the bag house filter. First question. Second type of question, like how the bag house filter can be used for the removal of the particles. Next is write down the basic working principle of the bag house filter. So these are the some of the questions that may come in your exam from this portion. Okay, so now advantages. What are the advantages of the bag house filter? That is higher, it is having the higher collection efficiency for smaller than the 10 micrometer particle size. Okay, so here you can see the particle size which is smaller than the 10 micrometer. For this particle size, particulate matter, we can use a bag house filter. Next, the performance decrease because becomes visible, giving pre-warning. Okay, so while the performance, the efficiency will decrease, the performance will decrease, before that we can have a clear indication from the equipment that uh, that is called the pre-warning. Okay, and normal power consumption. For this baghouse filter, we are having the normal power consumption. Okay, so what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages like high temperature gases need to be cooled. So high temperature gas we cannot use for the baghouse the filter. First of all, we have to cool down that gas, and then we can refine that gas molecules. Okay, high maintenance and fabric replacement cost. The large size equipment and fabric is liable to the chemical attack. And also the baghouse filter, generally what will happen, we are having the cotton bags, right? So there generally what will happen, they are generally affected by the by any type of chemical attack. So this is also one type of the disadvantages for using the baghouse filter. Yeah, so these are the some of the applications, some of the cases where we can apply the baghouse filter. One is metallurgical industry, next is foundries, next is cement industry, next chalk and lime industry, brick works, ceramic industry, flour mills. Okay, so all this, for all this case we can use the baghouse filter for all these industries. Okay, so baghouse filter is beneficial for refining the air molecules. Next we will discuss about the scrubbers or wet collectors. Generally what will happen, the particulate matters are incorporated into the liquid droplets and removed from the gas stream. So flue gas made to push up against a downfalling water current. Particulate matter mix up with the water, thus falls down and gets removed. What will happen while we have the liquid? Okay, so wet condition. So that time we are using the scrubbers. Okay, so what will happen? You can see here the gases are passing through this, and here the water is flowing, right? So wet scrubber, that is why it's called wet scrubber. The polluted air is passed through this water flow, and the pollutants are carried off by the liquid, leaving the air clean. Whatever from the outlet we are getting the water that is free from the pollutant. Okay, the gaseous or particles in the air stick to the liquid droplet, and the pollutants are carried off by the liquid and leaving the clean air, right? So this is the generally working principle of the scrubbers or wet collectors. Yeah, so what are the types of scrubbers generally we have? That is the spray towers we have, the Venturi scrubbers we have, the cyclone scrubber we have, the packed scrubbers we have, and mechanical scrubbers. These are the types of scrubbers that we have, but you don't in detail you don't have in your syllabus the working principle of this all these scrubbers. So only for your knowledge you should remember that what are the types of scrubbers that we have. That is the spray towers. Okay, next is Venturi scrubbers we have, cyclone scrubber we have, the packed scrubber we have, and the mechanical scrubber also we have. So these are the some of the types of scrubber, different types of scrubbers we have. Yeah, so again what are the advantages and disadvantages of using the scrubbers or wet collectors? Okay, now advantages is simultaneously it can remove the particulates and gaseous pollutants. Okay, So it can at the same time, if the gases will be passes to the polluted gases will be passes through the scrubber, it can remove the particulates and the gaseous pollutants at the same time. Okay, hot gases can be cooled down. Yes, so as you can see, you have seen that the water is flowing, so the hot gases also can be used, can be cooled down here, and it can be also used. The corrosive gases can be recovered and neutralized for the use of the water. Whatever the corrosive gases we have, that can be also recovered and neutralized by these scrubbers. But what are the disadvantages that we have? That is, lot of waste waters produced. Okay, so this is the actually, this is the wastage of the water. We all know that recently we are facing the scarcity of water, right? So we have to preserve our water, otherwise in near future, someday will come when we have to buy the 1 liter of water, the 10 liter of water. Okay, and due to the water scarcity, water deficiency in our society, so we have to be very careful about that. Now if we use the scrubbers or wet collector, here also so many, a large amount of water is wasted, waste or water produced. Okay, so poses these scrubbers poses freezing problem in cold countries. Yes, so the scrubber, generally we are using the water, so some of the freezing problem, the in the cold countries, what will happen, the temperature is very low, so for that case the freezing problem is a big problem. Okay, and maintenance cost is high when corrosive materials are collected. So as I told you, the corrosive gases can also be recovered and neutralized by this process, but the for the maintenance cost for this, the maintenance cost is very high for these corrosive materials. Okay, so these are the some of the disadvantages that we have. And the last one is catalytic converter. Generally, catalytic converter we are having in any automobile engines, in any car. Okay, we are having the catalytic converter. Catalytic, we are using this term. Why catalytic? Because in this catalytic converter there will be there will be two types of catalyst will be there. One is for the oxidation reaction, and one catalyst is for the reducing reduction reaction. Okay, so there are two types of catalytic converter, two types of catalyst we have in the catalytic converter, and also two chambers are there. One is called by the oxidation chamber and one is called by the reduction chamber. Now pollutant gases are made of harmful molecules, but those molecules are made from the relatively harmless atoms. So if we could find a way of splitting up the molecules after they leave a car's engine, by any type of automobile engine, and before they get pumped out into the air, we could crack the problem of the air pollution. Okay, so from the automobile industries, what will happen, the emission of the carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide will increasing day by day, and which will cause the greenhouse effect, which will cause the global warming. Okay, so to reduce this global warming, to reduce this air pollution problem, if before emitting the gas, if we convert that gas into less harmful gases, so that will be helpful. That is why, that is the use of the catalytic converter. A catalyst is simply the a compound that makes a chemical reaction go faster without itself changing in the process. Typically, there are two different catalysts in catalytic converter we are using. As I told you, one is for the oxidation reaction and one is for the reduction reaction. Okay. One of them tackles the nitrogen oxide pollution using the chemical process called the reduction, and this breaks up nitrogen oxide into the nitrogen and oxygen gases. Okay, and other catalyst works by an opposite chemical process called the oxidation reaction and turns the carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide, which is less harmful. Okay, another oxidation reaction turns the unburned hydrocarbons into the carbon dioxide again. So by the catalytic converter we can remove the carbon monoxide, we can remove the hydrocarbon and also nitrogen oxide. Now what will happen, in the oxidation chamber generally carbon monoxide is converted to the carbon dioxide. The unburned hydrocarbon also converted into the carbon dioxide with the help of the catalyst. Okay, and in the reduction chamber what will happen, the nitrogen oxide will reduce to the less harmful nitrogen gas. So thus we can use the catalytic converter for the removal of the carbon monoxide, the hydrocarbon and the nitrogen oxide. Okay, so you can see this is the hydrocarbons. This is, here we can see the there are two chambers are there where the reactions are going on. One is nitrogen oxide, one is yes, carbon monoxide, and one is hydrocarbon. The hydrocarbon also converted into the carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is the use of the catalytic converter. Yes, this is the working principle of the catalytic converter. So now how we can choose the equipment? What are the equipments we can choose for refining the gases? Generally these are the some of the properties that we have to check first, and after that we can choose the equipment, the control equipment rather. So particulate size, what is the particulate, the size of the particulate matter? If the size is very small, 0.1 to 1 micrometer, that time we must use the electrostatic precipitator. Okay, so next we should check the particulate loading. Okay, next we have to check the efficiency required, how much what is the efficiency of equipment required for this refining process. So that also we have to check the properties of the carrier gas, and what are the properties of the carrier gas we have to check. First of the composition, the temperature, the pressure, the viscosity, the density, the humidity, the combustibility, the reactivity, the toxicity and electrical property. All these properties we have to check for the carrier gas. Okay, so after that only we can choose the correct equipment for to control, to reduce the air pollution, to refine the air. Okay, so these are the some of the properties that we have to check first. Okay, so this is all about our today's class. Now how much you have understood and how much you have get the point. So for checking this, I have given one question, that is bag house filter remove particles up to blank. So you have to fill up this blank. Okay, so for this you will have the 10-second time. So first memorize what is the baghouse filter, what is the working principle of baghouse filter, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of the baghouse filter. That time only you can get the answer. So your time is over now. Yes, of course, the answer is it can remove the particles up to 1 micrometer. If we have the particle size less than 1 micrometer, that time we have to use the electrostatic precipitator. Electrostatic precipitator, the efficiency is 99%, but the one disadvantage we have, that is it's very costly process. Okay, the maintenance cost is high, so that is why the electrostatic precipitator generally used in some cases. Okay, so this is the answer. Baghouse filter removes the particles up to 1 micrometer. Okay, so again, these are the topics that we have discussed. We have seen the working principle of the baghouse. We have discussed about the working principle of scrubber and also catalytic converter, and all these equipments, whatever their disadvantages, whatever their advantages, also we have discussed. Okay, so yes, these are all checked. Okay, so students, please follow the classes regularly, because next day we will discuss some of the questions. So please go through the study material, follow the classes regularly, and also I have given one assignment. That assignment you have to submit in time. So just read the all study material and follow the classes. Next day we will discuss some of the questions. So thank you students, and see you in the next class.